Actually, expecting me to clean up after my pet makes you entitled. Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Torie, and I have my doggo, Evie, with me to go over these crazy entitled pet owners, people who think that they lay claim to the pets, anything like that. We're going over best or Redditor updates that include any sort of animal, and I'm really excited about it because some of these are crazy. I've only read half of them, so the other half I'm going to be reacting to with you guys, so we'll see how crazy things get. Before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever the term is on the platform you're watching on. You know the drill. It takes about 0.2 seconds, super easy, and helps out the channel more than you know. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Torie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. This first one is originally posted on r/entitled people, and it is titled, actually, expecting me to clean up after my pet makes you entitled. Man, I'm still trying to process an exchange I had this morning. I was sitting on my balcony having breakfast, and there was this woman I've never spoken to walking her dog. We don't know her, but my roommate and I see her down there pretty much every day. She's around our age, I would guess, so either in her 30s like us, or maybe in her 40s. We've never exchanged so much as a hello up to this point. Now, I really like my apartment complex. It's cute and pleasant to walk around, and the only thing that really sucks is when people don't clean up after their dogs. It's so freaking gross, and I hate when people don't do it. You're a grown-up who made a choice to have a pet. That comes with responsibilities that you have to keep up with. Most people around here do clean up after their dogs that I've seen, so we know it's just a few rotten eggs. If I see people who don't look like they're doing it, I call them out, which I know comes with risks, but come on, people. The response is sometimes defensive, sometimes a bit of twisting the truth like, oh, I was just going to, but they all know they should be doing it. You guys, side note, yeah, you need to be cleaning up after your dogs. I have always been someone who has stood on that, like, you know, even if for some reason, my dogs end up going 15,000 times on a walk and I run out of bags, I go home and get a bag and come back and clean it up because, like, that's no one else's responsibility and that's gross. Also, Ring cameras. Like, this isn't obviously the motivation for me. Like, I've been doing it since I was little. Like, I've always had dogs. But I do know on my neighborhood Facebook group, if you don't clean up after your dog and they see it, they will grab the camera footage and put it on the Facebook group. It's scary. Like, I'm always scared that something's gonna happen that, like, looks like I did something. Like, for example, I run out of bags, so I always get so many bags. Or, like, something happens where it looks like they went to the bathroom, but maybe they were just sniffing something or something like that. Maybe even my dog just pees on a tree and they don't like that, because that has been posted before. So I'm terrified of that and, like, people just yelling at you, because they'll high-key dox you, will be like, this person who lives at this address, that's so-and-so. So if you're not doing it to be a good person, because you're not a good person if you don't do it because there's Ring cameras and you're gonna get blasted. And I know doxing is wrong, don't ever dox someone, but I have seen people get doxed over this, so fair warning. Anyway, continuing. Anyway, this woman has her dog right by our balcony, and my friend and I were just chatting until I noticed the woman walking away without cleaning it up. So I said, in a tone more polite than the situation probably merited, "Excuse me, are you going to clean up after your dog?" And she says in a snide, snotty voice, "No, I'm good, thanks." I immediately burst out laughing, though not the good humor kind, because I couldn't believe the audacity. I said, "Wow, that's really pathetic," which apparently is more than she'd expected me to do, because she came marching back. Yeah, she doubled down, expecting you to just, like, leave it alone, for sure. I have to imagine most people don't call this woman out. For her to have that kind of immediate vitriol makes me think she's kind of spoiled just in general and was angry I'd embarrassed her. But she clearly knew I was right, because she had to come back and double down. That's what I meant. So she comes running at us with this kindergarten logic and goes, "I'm not the only one who doesn't clean up after my dog. Lots of people don't clean up after their dogs." Okay, and lots of people have done pretty bad things. Do you also do those bad things? And I was like, so? How does that absolve you of adding to the problem? She keeps going on about how other people do it too. So I said, cool, then give me their names. Let's have a list, because I don't see any of them right now. And she's like, open your eyes and figure it out for yourself. Oh my god, this lady is really trying to just... I think that she doubled down, not expecting to have to defend herself this hard. And now she's just grasping at straws. I was like, that's what I'm doing right now. She keeps shouting that she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to, and she doesn't care what I think. So I was like, holy crap, I've never met such an entitled person. It's insane to me that you're getting this angry over someone expecting basic decency out of you. And she says, no, you're entitled. I burst out laughing again and said, I clean up after my animals. Me telling you I don't appreciate you leaving messes on our shared property doesn't make me entitled. You're a grown woman who knew what responsibilities she'd have when she got a pet. There are tons of other people who don't want to see your dog's crap. You're not the main character. Facts. Like, you knew what it would mean to get a dog and live in an apartment complex. It's pretty, we all know what that entails. At this point, I feel like this woman has never been confronted beyond her first snarky response, and I have a bubbly and friendly tone normally, so she probably had expected to have scared me or shocked me into silence with that callous initial reaction, because she's practically melting down, trying to upset me while my friend and I laughed. She's probably never heard no in her life in any way, shape, or form, so this is a lot for her. She doesn't know how to handle it. She gave me a snarky "have a nice day," and I wished her the same in an equal tone, then she waddled off. And no, that's not me calling her fat. She was actually really fit. She just walks in a very exaggerated, cartoonish way like Jessica Rabbit or some crap. I thought she was doing it to be snarky, but my friend said she always walks like that. We took a short video of her, sadly not of the incident itself as we had to go grab our phones, and I plan to take it to the front office just to let them know. It's only step one. I doubt anything will be done with this, but this has been driving me crazy, and I'm ready to start holding rude people accountable. Fortunately, I can use the corporate offices if the people here don't start to put pressure on people who are blatantly breaking their lease. It's right in there that you have to clean up after your animals. I'm not trying to get anyone evicted, but I'm hoping she at least feels the pressure to act like a grown-up and take care of her pets. Like, I wouldn't cry if she got a fine or something. Seriously, though, it's painful to me that people like this even exist. She was so confident that she was somehow in the right that she didn't even try to lie about it. Like, woman, you aren't 12. The other people do it, argument is going to hold up in court. I would say that if she wasn't so rude, you are taking it a little bit far and, like, being a bit of a Karen. Like, if she hadn't been so rude, like, if she would have been like, oh, I'm sorry, and then you would have done this, yeah, I would have been like, okay, you're being a little bit of a Karen. But the fact that she was being so rude, doubled down, like, I don't see you as exactly being a Karen. I see you as being like, yeah, petty revenge type beat. Like, you have every right to. She is doing something wrong, so, sorry. Additional info. Original poster on if there are dog bag dispensers nearby. Yeah, there are dog bag dispensers in 3 spots around the main square, so they don't even have to go back to get them. It's just laziness and entitlement, sadly. But yeah, while things like that suck for sure, these are always instances where they weren't facing that kind of problem. I'm glad you're a good dog owner. I feel like going out of my way to praise people for basic decency when I see it. That is something that I have mentioned about my neighborhood, is they don't have very many, like, dog bag dispensers or trash cans. So then you have to put the trash can in people's trash cans if you happen to be walking on a day when it's trash day. And then you have to worry with the issue of people getting upset, because people will get upset if you put, like, dog poop in their trash can. So I try not to do that, but then it's like sometimes I'm walking literally a mile with a bag full of dog poop. So that is something that I really get annoyed about. But again, like, I have a dog. I knew what that entailed. So the update for this is 17 hours later, so it's pretty quickly after. Let's go ahead and read that. So yesterday I posted about having a nasty encounter with a neighbor of mine who was apparently too good to pick up after her dog. She made sure to let me know that I was the entitled one for not wanting dog poop all over the property, and she made sure to toss it in some classic remarks, expecting maintenance people to clean it up. Didn't mention that before. Don't like that. Nope. Someone suggested in the comments that she might be the pathetic sort to come back and intentionally try to provoke us. I thought for sure she wouldn't be that dumb. Turns out, I was a fool for giving her that much credit. But it's a good thing she did, because I got a great video of her. I'm not going to upload it for a number of reasons, but I might if she tries to do it to me. It played out in Entitled Loser 101 to a degree that it almost felt unreal. I can't believe people like this truly exist. I just realized that if you're watching the video, I had my phone, like, directly in my face, so my bad. She came by, intentionally brought her dog right beneath our balcony this time and waited. I was like, cool, let's record. So we sit there, she waits for her dog to poop, then she starts to walk away. Of course, proof. Thank you. Wait, okay, so my question is, in most apartment buildings, when you have a balcony, there is an apartment directly below you that has a patio. So, Did she just go on the neighbor below you's patio? If so, gross. Either way, ew. However, as she walked away, she saw that I was recording and turned back. She started shrieking, "Oh my god, are you trying to record me? You know that's illegal, right?" Bessie, that's not how that works. I said, "Yes, I am. It's not illegal. You're in a public space." Maybe the problem is that this entire time she just thought that the entire property was her private property. No, I'm joking. That was sarcasm. She starts yelling at me to mind my own business and that none of this concerns me. I told her that it did concern me because I live here too, and I don't want a poop-covered apartment complex, nor do any of the other residents, I would imagine. She told me I didn't own the complex, like that makes it okay. Do you, ma'am? We had a back and forth and she started recording me back, telling me threatening things like, "Thanks for exposing yourself," implying that she's gonna dox me and put it online. Hopefully nothing comes of that just because I want my privacy. But I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm not worried about it otherwise. When that didn't upset me, as she'd clearly intended, she started trying to insult me, and it was hilarious. "This is probably because of your weight." My best friend and I burst out laughing. She called me a fat B word, so I started recording again to catch anything else she might say. Oh, no. Oh, Evie. Yep, my dog needs to relocate. We'll let her do that. Alright, she has left. She told me she was reporting me, and I told her to please do it so they'd know who she was when I report her. It was freaking bonkers. What would they record you for? Like, I don't know. I guess she could try and say harassment, but there's video proof she's the one harassing you. This woman is a nightmare. I'm actually worried this is going to escalate into something even worse, but I guess we'll see. So the second she left, we took the video down to the front office. I showed it to one of the landlords who was appalled. I mentioned the day before and how that had gone down, and I verified that she was indeed breaking her lease. Also, the landlord thanked me for policing people who just leave dog poop behind. She said they'd been trying to get people to take responsibility, and it's turned into a real issue. Okay, so if they are actually saying it's been a real issue, unless they're just like blowing smoke to get you to go away, then it probably is getting really out of hand. I can see how you get agitated by that. After that, she gave me her email and asked me to send her the videos. I did so, and we'll see how it unfolds. I also told her that the woman threatened to report me, so she may actually call in herself and unintentionally turn herself in. I also mentioned worrying about potential retaliation so that it's just out there. If she calls the cops, I fortunately have the video, so she won't be able to make up anything about me harassing her or something. I've been told not to engage with her if she comes back again, but to just contact the office and tell them she's here. I really don't know what to expect. I just wanted to enjoy a nice morning on my balcony. I'm just seriously blown away. All this because someone asked you to pick up your dog's poop? What is the world coming to? So there's not any more updates after that, which I'm kind of annoyed about. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't even have anything to say. I feel like I kind of gave my opinions all throughout. Hopefully your landlord, property manager does something about this, and there's another update down the road, but this was posted a long time ago, April of 2024, so I doubt that we're going to get an update at this point. But yeah, that's gross. Clean up after your dogs. Moving on. My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male, of 3 years, stealthily took my 11-year-old dog to a vet 80 kilometers away to be put to sleep. Absolutely not. It was only luck I found out and got him back. Boyfriend doesn't know I have my dog back, but he comes back tomorrow night. Night? Why can't I talk? Why am I just having such a hard time with the English language? Ooh, this was 2016, so this was a while ago, but nothing like talking about a dog to pull the pitchforks out. I will go to war for any dog at all. So let's continue. My boyfriend, Jay, left for a trip up the coast to help family on Friday morning. While I was at work Friday, I got a phone call from one of my ex-flatmates, Bob, who I lived with at uni. He thought he had my dog with him and phoned me because someone had dropped him off to the vet surgery he worked at to be put to sleep. Bob sent me pics, and it was my Stixie. I'd recognize him anywhere. I grew up with him, and he was so close to me when I left home to study there was no questions about it. Stixie stayed with me. Bob kept Stixie with him, and I drove to pick him up as soon as I was out of work. Bob also showed me a phone screen he took of the vet security camera screen, and there's no doubt in the world it was Jay dropping him off. He's even wearing the same clothes he left in this morning before I went to work. I need more context. We're probably going to get it, but This stresses, I just can't imagine. Like, if my boyfriend would have done this to my dog, oh, absolutely not. My boyfriend would have been dropped off at vet surgery to be put down. That is insane. Jay has texted me a few times today, and I don't know why, but I'm not confronting him about this. Why not? I'm actually scared I will utterly lose it at him. I'm running everything through my head on why he'd do this. We talk sometimes about moving north to be near his family or overseas within a few years. I can't believe I'm trying to find reasons for him to do what he did or reasons for me to not rip him a new one and dump everything he owns out on the front lawn and set it on fire tonight. I'm half numb and half stunned beyond rational thought. Why can't I get functionally angry here? I know that animal obtuse, we're going to go with that word because we don't want to get in trouble, laws are really relaxed, especially in the, well, they're more here than I feel like they are overseas, but they're pretty relaxed still. But couldn't you report him for that? You have all the proof. Like, I just can't see this being legal, and I can't see, Bestie, you need to break up, throw him out. He texted me this morning like he normally does when he's away. I replied like normal, though we're not big text talkers anyway. He asked me a couple times if I was okay. Everything in the text I'm trying to read into what the heck he thinks he's hiding. So, what are you gonna do when he gets home and he sees the dog sitting there? He's gonna, like, I mean, I guess waiting to confront him in person is good because this is something I wouldn't talk about over text, but I would have a plan for when he gets back, whether you leave or he leaves. I would not be in a house with this man. There are some relevant comments. Let's read them. Well, that's terrifying. Do you have a place, a friend's maybe, where you and Stixie can stay for a bit while you get this sorted out? And by this, I mean your new living situation, because you really can't continue to live with the guy who just tried to kill your dog behind your back. Thanks for your comment. I do. At least 2 coworkers would be okay with me contacting them. I want people around me when he comes back. I wish I could make sure he knows he's no longer welcome in this home, nor can he come back, and he needs to go immediately. But I also know by bitter experience with a friend that kicking someone out of the dwelling they live in is a long process. That's true. Okay, so they are in Australia. I'm not as familiar with the laws over there. I know that they are a lot more advanced in like their research, at least with horses, because that's what I studied in college. But that's about the extent of what I know. By sheer luck and nothing else, an ex-flatmate of mine working at a vet clinic 80 kilometers from me called me out while I was at work and asked if a dog someone had brought in to be put to sleep was my Stixie. Wow, what a sentence. Also, yeah, I should have clocked it when she said kilometers that this isn't the US. Anyway, it was. I had told him Stixie and I had him hold Stixie and I collected him Friday. My flatmate showed me a recording he made of security video at the vet clinic, and it's definitely my ex dropping Stixie off. How illegal is this? I currently live in a flat that I rent and my boyfriend pays half, but I'm the only one on the lease. Oh, well, if you're the only one on the lease, well, again, I don't know the laws over there. I guess you have to evict him if it's been X amount of time. Technically, he has, like, squatter rights. Is that what it's called? However, I don't know the laws in Australia. How illegal is this? I want him out ASAP, or I want to be out of this situation as soon as possible. What options do I have? A friend of mine once tried to have a violent ex removed and it took months. I want to be out of this immediately. Are my only options to move? How do I protect myself from what my boyfriend, ex to me now, though he doesn't know it yet, may do to the place I rent when I return? I presume my landlord couldn't kick him out if I leave right away. He's never shown any weird tendencies before, so maybe I'm overthinking this. My boyfriend doesn't know what he did, nor that I have Stixie back. Sorry for the scattergun of questions. I'm scatterbrained at the moment, and he only returns in 20 hours or so, and I don't ever want to see so much as a hair on his head again. More relevant comments. Not legal advice. Keep your dog somewhere else. If he has access to him, who knows what else will happen. Seconded. Can you afford to board him or have a trusted family member watch him until this douchebag is gone? And I will call that vet to report what he did if your friend hasn't. It might not help you now, but they should be aware. And then ask where the dog is and see how much he's going to lie about it. That's what I was going to say, like, whether the dog is there or not. Obviously, I feel like he's asking, are you okay? Because you would have known that the dog's not there by now and asked him and freaked out. Like, he knows something's up because... Like, you would have been like, where's Stixie? What the heck? Where did he go? Why is he not home? Like, he was just gonna say he ran away? I don't know. So, the original poster added this in the comments. just got off the phone with my workmate. She's offered to come here overnight and she'll be here soon. We'll figure out what to do in the morning. I really appreciate all your posts. It only took reading a few to take myself out of this stupid stalled state of mind and move into action. It's after midnight here. I'm going to crash hard tonight. Update number 1. A night's sleep with good people around me helped. I phoned a workmate to see if I could stay there with Stixie, and she came over here for the night instead. We spoke, and we have a plan. Thank you for the links to NSW laws. It looks like I might be in the clear with forcing my ex out. I'm the renter, I'm the only name on the lease, and we have no written agreement. From my understanding, he is a boarder or lodger and can be removed quickly. I'll have to clarify, of course, but that gives me confidence. I was freaking out because I didn't know where to start last night. Also, it could be considered violent that he tried to have your dog removed from the planet. So if there's violent intent behind it, I'm sure that has to hold some legal weight. I'm not sure what, but I feel like that has to be some sort of like reasoning to push him out. My ex will be confronted with more people I know in the house backing me up. Good. Stixie is also in good health. He's 11 and a bit too fat and slower than he used to be, but he's fine. He's not microchipped. I'm taking a personal leave day Monday and getting him chipped first thing. Yes, getting microchipped is so important. I literally took my dog to the vet. Quick side story. Yesterday to do her yearly vet, and I didn't remember who her microchip was through because she's 8 years old now, so she got it 8 years ago. And I had the microchip like test her just to see what would pop up. So I'm gonna go through that and make sure that all of that's up to date. I have it all so that I can call and make sure. But I was freaking out the other day because I was like, what if she runs away and this is like my old phone number and my old house address? Like none of this is accurate anymore. So yeah, Evie would go to the highest bidder, I guess. Not really, but make sure your microchip's up to date. This is your reminder for your dogs that you've had a long time or you move a lot, because Evie and I went through college together, did all the things together, so a lot of reasons for things to need to be updated. Update number 2. He came back. He lied. I was upset and looked it. We gave him enough rope to make excuse after changing excuse. First, he was shocked Stixie was gone and would help look for him. Okay, so you pretended he was gone. That's cool. Then he was shocked someone took him to a vet to be put down. Then when confronted with proof it was him, he claimed Stixie was hit by a car and he had to end his suffering. Oh, boy. It just keeps getting better. When confronted with a live, happy Stixie, he turned it around and it ended with him telling me he should have had me put down. Excuse me? What? My coworker and her partner and I told him he is not welcome in the house anymore and that they were moving in with me, and everyone in the house and the neighbor we both get on well with, who saw him return on Friday to take Stixie, now knows what kind of person he was. He left of his own accord and took some of his stuff. I'm no closer to knowing for sure why he tried to do what he did. Sorry for jamming up legal advice with this one. It wasn't much of a legal ending. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, this top comment really handles it well, or puts it well with the only logical thing that we can think of, other than he didn't like the dog and didn't want the dog around, and he's just not a dog person, so he wanted to get rid of it. This person commented and said that line, it ended with him telling me he should have had me put down, just makes it clear this person was trying to hurt OP in the most cruel way their twisted little mind could sort out. Despicable. Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad she had people around, because you never know, like, if they're willing to do that to an animal. You know what they say, that's like one of the 3 signs of that someone's going to be a serial killer when they're younger, if they hurt an animal. But I mean, if he's willing to do this as an adult, I don't know. Like, obviously he's not right up there. We are going to cleanse our palate with a short and sweet update about getting a pet fox. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go through a bunch of steps to get a pet fox? I have always wanted one, but I looked into the laws, and oddly enough, I looked into this like 10 years ago, so it might have changed. You can get a pet fox in the state I live in, but it has to be bred and born in the state, and it's illegal to breed foxes here. So it's kind of like weird. I don't know if it's still that way, but over a decade ago, that was the law, and I was really upset about it. Anyway, continuing. Since I was about 16, I've known I wanted a pet fox. I've read up on them, know they're a lot of work, and that many owners are irresponsible, and that they can be destructive, but I've known I want one anyways. Now, I've graduated with my degree, paid off all my debt, live alone in a house, and I finally started looking into getting a pet fox. I contacted a large wildlife sanctuary here, one of the only licensed sellers of pet foxes in my state, who have taken in many pet foxes that previous owners surrendered to them and began the adoption process. That was more than 4 months ago, and the woman who runs constantly made things difficult for me, and every phone call she seems skeptical of my intentions. That's typical for nonprofit animal owners of any kind. I feel like they, one, want to make sure that you're not going to just turn around and do something wrong, like, God forbid, use it for something cruel or sell it for something wrong, or, you know, whatever, bad intentions, because anyone can lie these days. I know also the rescue where I got my bunnies from are incredibly strict about vetting you, making sure you have the pet setup that is appropriate for bunnies, and that you're not just going to turn around and dump them, because that is a big problem. So I know that it's annoying, but, like, they can take it a little bit too far. I've met some really accusatory sanctuary owners for, like, cats or for animals that are a bit more common, and yeah, it's like, I understand because you're putting the animal first, but you also can be really accusatory and turn people off so that more people don't want an animal or that animal, and then it's, like, not in the animal's best interest. So I can see both sides of the coin. You have to be really careful about it, and at some point you just have to trust that person, and you can't control the situation fully, and it sucks, but I get it. I have 2 bunnies I was going to give away, but I've kind of grown really fond of them, and I can't give them away because I just can't trust that anybody's going to take care of them the way that they deserve, because so many are just dumped. Anyway, I'm going on a side tangent. First, I had to pay a large cash deposit to even begin the adoption process. Then I had to agree to have a background check and submit proof of income. Then I had to give a virtual home tour by some outsourced service to make sure the environment was suitable for a fox and pay for the cost of the service. I've had at least 3 separate phone interviews now where I had to answer a bunch of questions about responsible ownership and get quizzed on how to care for a fox. I thought I was finally nearing the end of this process when I then got told that the next step is purchasing 2 bottles of fox urine. Apparently you can buy it online. I looked it up. Place them inside my house, open the lids on the bottles, and leave them to sit open for a week. Since apparently 63% of new red fox owners surrender the fox within 1 year, and the primary reason is a lack of willingness to or ability to deal with fox odor. Okay, that's crazy, but at the same time, they can kind of test you in whatever way they want. Like, if they tell you to stand on 1 foot and put books on your head, they can tell you as long as they have, like, a reason for that. At this point, I went off on her and yelled that I've been going through this stupid process for months. She has a fox. I have the money. Why the hell can't I give you the money for the fox and call it a day instead of playing all these stupid games? She just gruffly told me that she had every right to keep my deposit and withhold the fox if I chose to behave this way unless I apologized and agreed to her process. Am I the a-hole? I feel like I've reasonably demonstrated that I'm willing and able to care for a fox without filling my home with fox pee. Question from the user. Your update was deleted. What happened? I've been reading about pet foxes, which is how I came across your post, and I'm curious for an update. Did you decide against the fox? Was the urine smell too much? And this was 3 months after the original post. Reply from OP. Yeah, I didn't get it. The smell was so awful. That's so... I'm sorry, that's a little funny. See? This is what I mean. Like, it may seem ridiculous, but there you go. Same thing with bunnies. Like, the same thing with bunnies. Like, it seems a bit ridiculous, but bunnies smell really bad. And if you don't take care of them and stay on top of it, like, you have 2 choices here. You either have to stay on top of them like white on rice and do some sort of work every single day. Clean their litter box out. Make sure everything's good. Give them their own space that you are constantly monitoring. Or you have to live with the smell. So, like, while she was a bit overbearing and it seemed like a lot, like I said, she wanted to make sure you weren't going to turn around and surrender him, dump him, have bad intentions, and the smell was terrible. So, there we go. My girlfriend, 24 female, wanted another pet, and I, 27 male, said no, plus satisfying update. I'm trying to keep this as anonymous as possible. Here we go. My girlfriend loves animals. She is a legal secretary as her job and works as a small animal specialist on the side. She's worked as a small animal specialist for 4 years, and after getting her quote-unquote real job, decided to keep her other job for fun. At home, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. All are her pets. Yeah, that's some commitment, but I know that as a small animal specialist, I don't think that you make nearly as much money unless you're not around where I live, because where I live, you just don't make much money. Her jobs are highly demanding, and when she isn't working, she's in the den organizing huge dog adoptions events. Every 4 or 5 months, she manages to bring about 60 dogs up from high-kill shelters around the U.S. and finds every dog a home. That is insane. I also am a huge animal advocate. You guys know that running the dog social media is another form of income for me, and I try to advocate for especially the education of, like, bunny care, because I've talked about it a lot, like, they're a lot to handle, people don't realize it. Also, the dogs, I try to spotlight animals. Like, I used to have a nonprofit low-key, like, very, very, very in the beginning steps of starting it, and I just couldn't go through with it because it was so much work. So the fact that she's able to house and adopt out 60 dogs is insane. I mean, even doing 3 is insane. That's so much. Like, she has the grit. She's got that dog in her. And I think that's a cool thing she does, but she literally stays up until 3 a.m. planning flights and managing people to get the dog securely to the holding center and it's etc. And then wakes up at 6 a.m. and goes to work until 5 p.m. and then goes to her other job until 10 p.m. and comes home and repeats the process. On her days off, she is taking her dogs to the park and going on hikes. She lavishes her pets with new beds and the best food, and when she is working, she has the dogs go to daycare, etc. As you can see, her days are filled with animals, and I feel like I'm not even a part of this relationship. When she isn't with animals, she's reading or doing her own thing. We've been out to dinner together maybe twice in the past month. Okay, well, have you ever thought that you should maybe help her or spend time with her and the animals? Like, if you're not an animal person, maybe you're just not compatible, because clearly these are her entire life. She clearly has been like this from the beginning. Like, if she did this job and has had these pets, and, like, you don't just get a passion like this overnight. More often than not, she's been this way her whole life, and this has been a lifelong dream of hers, and she has the money. Like, if she was just leaving the dogs at home all day for you to take care of, I could maybe understand where you're like, she shouldn't get another pet. But she sends them to doggy daycare, which is expensive. And she gives them the best life. She gives them beds and everything. Like, I understand. My dogs are my babies. I spoil my dogs. All of my free money goes to them. Like, I literally just dropped $500 on them at the vet, which is that's the bare minimum that you should be doing. If you have 2 dogs, that's what it costs this day and age to take them to get their yearly exam and vaccine. So I'm by no means, like, doing anything above and beyond by doing the bare minimum. But that's just, like, an example, like, finding $500 to take your dog to the vet is not always an easy feat. You gotta budget for that, and a lot of people are like, that's $500 I could be spending on something else. And then there's also, like, getting the beds. Like, I literally have one of those tents for little kids in my office. I'm staring at it right now with their bed inside of it. Like, my dogs are my entire life, as you can tell. And yeah, I work from home so that I can be home with them all day, because I had a 9-to-5 where I was working, and I quit for multiple reasons. Like, I left that job for a lot of reasons. It wasn't just this, but being able to be home with them all day, such a bonus. And I don't know if I could ever not do it. So yeah, as a dog person who wishes that I had the ability to go this hard, and I probably would if I devoted all of my time to just this and not any other side projects like the podcast or anything, I think that she's doing everything she can to make life as amazing for these animals as she can, while also, like, not making them your problem. I get that you're a little jealous of, like, the time she's spending with them, but she also has the argument of, why don't you just join us? Like, hang out with us. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but maybe you're just not compatible. She isn't distant or rude. She always lets me in on what she's doing and asks if I want to help, or asks if I want to go to the park with her or on a hike, but I don't want to, because it's always about the animals and not me. Okay. No. No. First off, we love a girl boss. We love a strong, independent woman. Second, when my boyfriend and I take our dogs out, it is all about our dogs. It's about our dog's safety. It's about making sure they're comfortable. It's about making sure they have potty breaks, they have water, they are strapped into the car correctly, they are not bothering other people. Like, I have the mindset of, if we are walking down a street, a public space, obviously it's a public space. It's not our dog's road. It's not our road. We are not entitled to the sidewalk. So we are constantly observing, making sure if anybody's coming, we're putting them on a short leash, putting them on the side of us that they aren't walking on, making sure that there's no glass on the ground, making sure that there's no other dogs that maybe are off leash that shouldn't be or could potentially hurt them. Like, it is all about the dogs, because the dogs can't advocate for themselves. We have to advocate for them. And we're okay with doing that because we're both dog people. And we do bond. We do have fun. We laugh and we joke and we take little stupid videos of them and say, oh my gosh, he's so silly doing, what is he doing? My dog is so silly. Like, and we love doing that. But if you're not a dog person, you're not a dog person. It's not about either one of us in that moment. Like, it's not about you, it's not about her, it's about the animals. Anyway, last night before we went to bed, she said she was thinking about getting a tree frog to put in the den because she really likes the calming presence they give off. I just think that is the straw that broke the camel's back, because I told her that's insane. I told her I'm tired of all the animal stuff she's involved in. I told her she needs to grow up. And I told her absolutely no to the tree frog idea. At first she was quiet, but then she said something about how animals are her passion and what she does isn't stupid and she'll never get tired of animals, and that I have my own hobbies too, and she doesn't think they are stupid and childish. She then said that tree frogs are close to nothing maintenance-wise and they're just pretty. She then started getting upset and cried and left the room, and when I woke up I found her asleep on the living room floor with the dogs. Honestly, I would react in a similar way. But I feel like you said a lot more than you're letting on by the way that you noted that she said that what she does isn't stupid. Is that what she said? So that makes me feel like you said to her, if you didn't mention this, like, that it's stupid that you spend so much time with the animals. She probably took that as all the effort, because it is effort. Like, all that time that she's putting into those animals is just stupid. That hurts. Like, I know I've had days where I'm so, like, just because she does it doesn't mean she's always in the mood to. Like, I'm not always in the mood to deep clean the bunny's room, but I do it because I love them. And I know for me, like, the conversation has come up where my horse, when Josh and I first started dating, like, he hasn't been around horses. So he sees Moon as a little expensive. So he said to me, like, why don't you get rid of the horse? That's an expense we can't afford right now. And I've had my horse since I was 12. That's my girl. I have made it work. I have, she eats before I do. I got all my pets eat before I do. I have moved her all over the state. Through college, she's been there. Like, that's my girl. And he is into cars, which is fine. Love a car guy. But I told him, cars are your hobby. Moon dance is my hobby. You spend money on car parts. I spend money on my horse. Conversation has never come up since then. Like, it's just putting it in perspective. But this guy's a jerk. Hopefully she dumped him. It's not like we're being overrun with animals, but the amount of them in my life is aggravating. Also, a tree frog doesn't literally do anything. It sits in a cage. It's a lot to make sure the humidifier and everything is where it needs to be, but other than that, like, very low maintenance. But I also have never had a tree frog, so that's just, like, the vibe I get. I've never actually had one, but I feel like they are. She said they are, and I know she's the type of person who would do her research, it seems, so, yeah. She even brings random lizards home and nurses them back to health. Yeah, she's literally me. Isn't this all a little insane? She's always loved animals, but now that she makes a substantial amount of money, she does more than ever. I don't get it. Now she wants another animal to fawn over and spend hundreds of dollars on each week? No. I guess I'm just venting for the most part. I feel bad for the way she feels, but I still think the time she invests in animals is insane, and since she's in a relationship with me, she should act like it. Oh boy. Okay. I'm not going to say anything else, and I'm going to read the update. After reading comment after comment about how I didn't support my girlfriend and care about her passions, I started to see where I was wrong. I do care about her passions. I, personally, am burnt out of animal care. I should have communicated that better besides blowing up on her. I still, no matter how many protests and comments I get, will never understand why she donates so much money to just animals and not anything else. That is why I told her to grow up. That, and I think her passion for animals is childish. Ooh. Sort of in the way that kids love fairies or mermaids. But technically, scientifically, fairies and mermaids have not been proven to be real. Animals are. Animals are a huge, okay. They're huge. They have a lot of issues we gotta take care of. Okay, I'm getting a little angry, but we're gonna keep reading. I feel like it's a phase she never grew out of. I love dogs too, but her deep love of animals is something I looked over because she always had good jobs and she is very pretty. I think a lot of people were misguided in calling me a douchebag simply because I have missed spending time with my girlfriend. No, I'm not jealous of lizards. I think it's absurd to come home and find her bandaging up some lizard's foot or open up my fridge to find a tub of mealworms to give said lizard. I've always loved how dedicated she was to things. Whatever she's doing, she gives it 100%. I just wish she directed that passion to things that really, really matter. Helping animals is nice and all, but it's not really changing the world. Okay, my camera has literally died twice during filming this, so I'm finishing up filming on my iPad. Apologies, but let's get this started. Or continued. The way that he said, I wish she directed that passion to things that really, really matter. Sir, just because it doesn't matter to you doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's so annoying. That's so annoying to me. Like, hey, sir, the world doesn't revolve around you. Your morals is not the entire world. Like, we all don't have the same morals. We all don't have the same interests. And if animals are what she's passionate about, there's nothing wrong with her helping them. What are you doing to help? Anything. Anything. There's some people who are really passionate about mental health and they do a lot of things to help that out. There's a lot of people that are passionate about LGBTQ and they do a lot of things to help that. Like, your passion is something that you just feel called to more than anything else. And that's what drives you to do things that better the planet. There's someone who's passionate about everything. And it's like, yeah, you can donate to all these things. But at the end of the day, what you're most passionate about is what you're going to be drawn to help. And you're going to feel a calling to help. And you're going to just get like emotional and have that drive to do. So, yeah, she's helping animals, and if she wants to help something else, she can, but, like, she doesn't have to do anything, technically. She doesn't have to stay up. She's doing it because she's passionate. Like, she doesn't have to do any of that. So the fact that you're being such a dick about it is pissing me off. However, I'm still deeply in love with the beautiful, sensitive, loving girl I met 5 years ago, and all the comments made it clear that I was being rude to her. So I wrote her up an apology letter and went to the nearest pet store to get her a tree frog. I got the tank and lamp and even crickets. I set up the whole tank in the den where she wanted it and named the tree frog Jinx. I thought my apology and me buying the tree frog would help her see I care and that her passions are cool. Anyway, I waited for Jessica to get home, and finally, when she did, I told her to go look in the den. She seemed upset still and said, "Thank you for the tree frog. I actually bought one before I got off work, and I had a friend set up the tank for me. It's in my car. I'm gonna go get it." She brought the tank in and asked if we could talk for a little bit in our room because she had some things on her mind. She said she didn't want to jump to conclusions, but our relationship wasn't heading in the direction she wanted, and maybe I should find someone more suited to what I like. Maybe a more quieter, less busy life. For sure. Like, that's another thing I didn't even think about. Like, her life is so busy in general because she just, like, is someone who prefers to be busy and prefers to always be on her feet and going. And a lot of people may not like that. Like, there are people I know that are very turned off by that. I'm a similar way. Josh is a similar way. We never know what we're going to be doing the next day. We're pretty much always doing something, even if we're at home, we're working on something. So it's like, some people are not like that. Like, my mom is the opposite, and she's even told me, "I worry about you being so busy and so quick to take risks because, like, it stresses me out because traditionally that's just not how we are, and, doing all of that is just scary. It's scary." But, yeah, I didn't even consider that. Like I said, I mean, I didn't think that they were compatible, so I'm glad she's getting it and she's figuring that out on her own. I explained to her that I love her deeply. I just want her to tone down her animal life. And she said she can't because it's not only her passion, but all the money she makes from being an animal specialist goes to the animals for adoption, vet care, housing, and money to the people who foster the animals when she can't. She said if she toned anything back, she would lose a huge part of her, and I thought she was being extreme. I told her I loved her and that that's her choice. She said she loved me too, but my actions showed I can't and won't support her. She then referred to many times in our past when I refused to show up to her adoption events, and most memorable for her was when I wasn't there when she was accepting an award. Oh, yeah, throw the whole man away. That's, you clearly don't support her. Like, actions speak louder than words. And the fact that you don't even go to any of that, like, even, like Josh doesn't like the bunnies very much, but when I have a bad day, he's willing to help me do things for them. Like, I don't expect him to, and the deal is, like, they're mine. But he'll help me. Like, today he helped me clean their litter boxes because I'm so beyond burnt out and tired. Like, and that's just being a partner. Like, I help him with car stuff, but that's not my thing. If he ever asks, I'm there. So, yeah, ooh. It all became very clear that she didn't want to be with me anymore. And once again, she was choosing animals over me. I don't think that's it. I think that you are choosing yourself over her when you don't do the things. Like, you're choosing your own comfort or your own interest over her. And you made that choice a long time ago. I accepted it and told her to live her life as she pleases. I told her that I thought she should give money to homeless children too, and she said, "I'm sure. Do you know any organizations I could help with?" But I didn't have any suggestions, and I was already angry, and it felt like she was giving me a slap to my face. Because she's proving a point. You're being hypocritical. Like, you don't help them.
She said that I was missing the point. We ended the conversation shortly after that with us splitting up and her saying there are things in life that I don't understand and she can't make me understand and it's just as frustrating for the both of us. I agree with her about the frustration part. She said that I can spend as much time as needed to clear my head and I'm allowed to stay here until I find a new place to live. Unfortunately, the house is hers and life is going to be weird to adjust to alone. But she's right that it will be less busy and more quiet, which I'm excited and looking forward to. I'm also happy about not having to share my home with a tree frog, her 2 dogs, and 2 cats, and whatever other critters she brings home for the night. Yeah, okay, thank God that she threw the whole man away, as she should. Like, she literally owns the house. I'm sorry. Are you telling her what she can and can't bring into her own home? That she can and can't spend money on when it's, like, her money, and she can and can't devote her time to when it's her time? And you refuse to be any part of any of that? Like, you're just not compatible and you're kind of being a jerk about how you feel about it. So, yeah, we're going to end it on that one. That was very satisfying that she took the trash out. But that's pretty much it. I'm sorry if like the sound is a little weird for when I switched over to filming on my iPad. I just couldn't film on my phone because that's what I'm reading the stories on. And my freaking camera takes like 2 hours to charge and it's already freaking 9 o'clock and I've already tried to charge it once and I'm sorry. I will charge it ahead of time next time. I'm irresponsible. But that is pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like these types of podcast episodes, videos. They're your jam. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Sunday with a whole new episode. Love you. Bye.